Today we're gonna make homemade marshmallows. They're actually easier than you think, and they're a million times better than store-bought. These are flavored with vanilla bean and vanilla extract for a little extra. They're perfect for hot cocoa, any s'more situation, a campfire. They actually store really easily, so you can keep them all winter long and pop them in your hot cocoa as you go. Yum. All right, let's get into it. So the first step of making marshmallows is blooming your gelatin. Now I'm using sheet gelatin. I'll put a conversion down below so that you can also use powdered if you'd like. But I really love sheet gelatin, and I do think it is worth the Amazon purchase or whatnot. I'm gonna place it in there in my ice water one at a time. This keeps it from sticking together. It's gonna keep it from having little patches of unbloomed gelatin. I always use ice water because it kind of controls the blooming process and it makes sure that it doesn't get overbloomed or start to kind of break down in your water before you're ready to use it. Just gives you like a little buffer, if you will. All right, so just make sure that it is all pushed underneath the water, and then we're gonna let it bloom. It really only takes like 5 minutes. Okay, so we're ready to make the rest of our marshmallows. Our gelatin is bloomed. You can make marshmallows with or without eggs. I am going to use eggs in this recipe, egg whites, because I do prefer the flavor. We are going to make an Italian meringue and then pour it into our beating whites, much like Italian meringue buttercream, but then we add gelatin and stabilize it at that point. So I've got the bulk of my sugar here. I'm gonna put that in first. And then I am going to pour in my water. I like to do it around the edges first to kind of keep the sugar crystals from working their way up the sides. And then I put whatever is remaining in the center. Now, unlike caramel, it does matter how much water you put in here because the water is not going to leave. It is going to be in here, it's going to be in your marshmallows, and so if you use too much water, you'll have like a soupy meringue situation. You don't want a soupy meringue situation. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of carefully hydrate my sugar. If you do get sugar on the sides, that's no big deal. You can take a clean finger, a clean pastry brush, or even paper towel that's been dipped in cold water, and run it along the edges. My sugar is completely moistened. There's no dry patches, and there's also no sugar on the outside of my bowl, so I am good to go. I'm gonna pop this on the heat. Go ahead and put that on high heat. And I'm gonna let that start to bubble before I start the next process. I've got my bowl here. I've got egg whites. It's about 5 eggs. And then I've got a whisk attachment. So Italian meringue, marshmallows, buttercream, whatever type of thing they're doing with Italian meringue, it's really just a matter of timing and balancing your timing. So you wanna make sure that this is at stiff peaks when your sugar syrup reaches 240. I usually take mine off at 238 just to give me a little bit of buffer. So while I'm waiting, it's still doing nothing over there. I am going to squeeze my gelatin, which is now bloomed. So I'm just gonna grab the gelatin. It's a considerable amount of gelatin. You might want to do it in batches. I always do. Now theoretically, once you squeeze your gelatin, your bloom gelatin, it will start to harden kind of again, but we're 10 minutes out here, so nothing bad's gonna happen. So just squeeze it out really well, because this water is not part of the equation. So my sugar has started to bubble, and I'm gonna go ahead and fix my thermometer where I can see it. It's very important. And I'm gonna give it a check and see where it's at. All right, it's around 200. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start this on kind of, lowish. I have a little bit of salt here for stability. It's not really enough for flavor, but it is going to help stabilize the meringue. You could use cream of tartar if you'd like, whatever you want. So it's at 220 right now, which usually Italian meringues or meringues of any kind or cooked sugar just kind of sit at 220 for a little bit. So it's probably going to hang out there. But once it starts going above it, it's going to keep going. So we just want to watch it. So I've got a frothy bit here in my egg whites, and I'm just going to add a little bit of sugar, just sprinkling it in there. This is just, the sugar is kind of cheap insurance to make sure that it stabilizes the meringue a little bit. You won't get as much volume, but it will be more stable, which means when you add the syrup in, it's less likely to cook the eggs or over whip or do anything like that. All right, so all of my sugar is in, and I'm going to turn this up. So it's hovering right around 232, which is fine, and that's what I want. Because once you take your syrup over the temperature, you can't just cool it down and pour it in because the properties of the sugar change. And this is looking good. Let me just show you where she is. So this is our meringue. That's soft peaks right there. Right. So we've got a little bit more to go, but not a ton. Turn it back up to high. All right. Okay, so my egg whites have reached stiff peak. You see how, it's hard to tell when there's a lot, but you see how it's very stiff. You can always keep this on low. It's kind of like a weighting mechanism. And we are at 238 right here. Turn this up to high, and then you're going to slowly pour down the sides. All right, make sure you get all of it in there. Do be aware that this syrup is very hot. All right, and it's all in. It's a delicate balance of when you put the gelatin in. It does need to still be hot enough to melt the gelatin. So turn it on, kind of put the gelatin in there. You just want to beat that in really well. You'll notice when you add the gelatin, it gets like kind of shiny. That's great. So all we're doing at this point is just waiting for the marshmallows to cool enough to spread out. All right, you don't want to turn yours down, but I have to so I can talk to you. This is vanilla extract, and this is vanilla bean. So I'm just going to split it lengthwise, the whole thing, you see, quite like that. And then I'm going to turn it on its side, and I'm going to scrape out the seeds. And then I'm going to put it in this bowl here. Boop. And then I'll pour my extract on top, and then I'll mix them together. Okay, so my marshmallows are looking pretty good. If you take them out too soon, then they're going to kind of steam themselves in the pan, and then they'll be soggy. You don't want that. But if you take them out too late, then they're going to start to set, and they're going to be hard to spread. So regardless, I don't actually stop my mixer normally until I am ready to pour them into my pan, but I'm just going to prepare the pan with you right here really fast. Just give it a good kind of just an X on the bottom. You don't want to get it on any of the sides because it's going to deflate your meringue. Go ahead and line the bottom of your pan with parchment, okay, and then set this aside. We are going to add our vanilla beans to our mixture here. Turn it back on, turn it down a little bit when you're adding so it doesn't spray everywhere. And then go ahead and add all of that in there. Turn it back up. All right, so that is our marshmallows. We are going to take them out. All right, and then we're gonna dump out our marshmallows. Oh yes, look at these. Woo, girl. Oh yeah, these are some marshmallows. Should get all of it out. And then we're just gonna spread it out. You do wanna work quickly, and because it will start to set as it cools. So just go ahead and get it into the corners. All right, so I like to get it as smooth as I can, which will help. So next, the last step, we're gonna dust this with a 10x, a confectioner sugar and cornstarch mixture, which will keep it from sticking and also drying out. Now I do 10% the weight of the 10x sugar, so I'm gonna do 100 grams, and then I'm going to do 10 grams of cornstarch. If you put too much cornstarch, it kind of has like a It will taste like cornstarch, but also has kind of a weird texture to it. Whisk these together. And you're gonna just go ahead and cover the whole surface with it. All right. So we will reserve this to toss the marshmallows in once we take them out. This is also a really easy way to flavor them. You want to put some like strawberry dust in there, so from dehydrated strawberries or whatever. So we're just gonna let this sit overnight and kind of let it set and cool completely before we cut it. So we're back, it's been 24 hours. You needed to let the marshmallows kind of sit and set before they cut beautifully. So that's what we're gonna do now. I've got my tray here. Of course you can make this in a smaller batch. And yours will be a little bit higher because if you recall, I shut the mixer off a few times and well, meringues don't generally enjoy that. So there's a little deflating that happened because of the filming, but here we have our marshmallows. They're still gonna taste just as delightful. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Don't forget that you do have that parchment paper in the bottom, so you're gonna wanna take that out. You can cut it in this mold, or like in whatever mold you put it in, or you can kind of pop it out and cut it all at one time, which is what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a little messy, but I think we are up for it. I'm just gonna kind of stick my finger in there. There we go. Release them. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna peel this paper off. It is very sticky on the bottom because there's no powdered sugar or cornstarch or anything like that. So we're just gonna keep peeling because we've got this. Make sure you get all the paper. You don't want stray paper in your marshmallows. I'm gonna take a little bit of my cornstarch powdered sugar mixture and then I'm gonna kind of spread it on the bottom just so it doesn't stick to my cutting board when I flip it back over. Basically, we're just gonna cut our marshmallows. You can cut them as small or as large as you like. Just be aware that wherever you cut is gonna be sticky. So I keep my 10x cornstarch mixture in a bowl and I'm just gonna put them straight in there. I think I'm gonna do like smallish ones. Yes, like this. You can also use any sort of cutter, like cookie cutter or a Teco ring mold or whatever, to make whatever shape you want. These are gonna go great in some hot cocoa. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Some people like to spray their knife when they're cutting. I don't generally agree with that method, but you know, if it works for you, you can totally do that. All right. So now we've got our squares cut or whatever shape you have, and then we're just gonna kind of plop them in break them up and plop them in our 10x cornstarch mixture. Again, that's 10%. You can of course make more if you need to. And then you just kind of toss them in there, make sure that they come apart, and then you just put them down. Yay! Ah! Just gonna repeat with all of this. Okay, so now we've tossed most of our marshmallows, and I'm going to clean this up because this is stressful, and touch back. So now you've made marshmallows. Super easy. Hardest part is cooking that syrup and that timing of the Italian meringue, and it's just a little bit messy, but other than that, super fun, super easy, and now it's time to try. I mean, we all know what marshmallow tastes like. Wish I had like a little, you know what? I do have a torch. Yeah, I could just eat it like this, but why do that when I could toast it? Oh my God, I love it. Yes. Ooh, don't you love when it does that? Oh. Marshmallow perfection. Right here. Yes. Let's do another one. That was fun. But it's so pretty. Good. A whole lot of sugar just chilling in there.